Thank you very much. So this was really a historic day. I think we were wow, and that was amazing. You know that last meeting when you see the heads of those countries, those are serious countries. So try and see that it was either it was fantastic. I did and see the so-called hostages because kids come back home the way that parents is. Right? Yes, you went right. Your father would not be that way. He'd be okay, but he wouldn't be like that. I would get a hug. A hug. I'll divide a hug. I want to be there. Just let you know how you might. Well, yeah. So, how are you doing? Everybody okay? Very good.
How are you feeling?
I was good. I mean, it's a long day, but it's a long day, and we have a couple of big ones. That first one was it's going to be great news. I'm telling you that there's a lot of being in there, the dissecting it and just playing it all night comes and it's been like, I think it's a very important day. So nobody thought this was possible.
Then it's a challenge.
And the press has been very respectful for change. Doesn't happen often. Go ahead, Kate. Let's go.
What does it tell you about the world that it seems like you got a much better reception in Israel than you would get in like New York City? It's like
I think I got a great reception. You understand?
I'm not saying that you don't, but it was another level to that.
That was incredible. Like I went to the Bronx. We had 31,000 people in a park in the Bronx, in New York City. During the campaign, 31,000. Can't remember that. It was the friendliest crowd you've ever seen, and very diverse. But it was really
New York City, bad example, but it was. I don't know if you can see.
You admitting you made a mistake? I don't believe it. This is breaking news.
First rule of politics: never admit a mistake.
Never.
But it was in the motorcade. I don't know if you can see there were people hanging out of every apartment balconies. Inside the Knesset.
Yes. And so I've heard, I think he said, if you did Russia or you did, lots of different combinations, they say the Middle East wasn't away. This is like encapsulates. It's just thousands of years. Nothing's been done. It's the whole thing would take them Arabs, Jewish people, everybody. It's just never been done before. And there's a certain mystery to the Middle East. I mean, look, it's only because of ratings. You're only as good as the ratings. But if they weren't getting ratings, your people are fluctuating. And by the way, Trey is excellent.
He does a really good job.
We did a very quick interview. I was running to the second one. We're pretty late.
Something that we heard from some Israelis on the ground, they want to know how the peace goes when you are not the president. So 3 years from now,
I can't answer it. I know this, and you are all witness. We go, and I get 25,000, 35,000. If you look at a normal president, we get 300 people, and that's not bad. They'll go to a podium, 1,000 people, we get 35. We had 117,000 people in New Jersey. And so I can't tell you what's going to happen, but I'll be out there fighting for whoever it may be.
Sorry, yeah. Did you tell BB beforehand that you were going to go off script?
No, I actually told him I just want to bring up the party. But it was just the perfect spot. It was good timing. Because he was getting a very good shooter. And when they stopped, they said, why did he get this that quick? If he didn't get a good head, they would have done that. But the timing was so funny. What do you think, Katie? Good timing for that.
I think people thought it was pretty funny, yes.
It was good worked out. So we were risque. And I'll bring it up. Yeah, the pretty sort of subject in Israel, but the people were fantastic.
Mr. President, you spoke to
There we go. Chicken is born pretty. I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
I have some good questions.
I do. Very nice. Go ahead.
You talked to President LCC, and you spoke out in that room how Egypt has a little climb, and you said it's all about leadership. You talked about
they're very strong.
You talked about some of the governors.
You wouldn't believe us, but they are very strong, but they don't have the kind of pride. They don't have the violent. They may have other kinds of pride, but they're violent crime. You can actually walk down a park and not get mugged or hit over the head.
Do you want to see some U.S. governors be more like Egypt?
Oh, I want him to be strong and tough and not allow us to have record-breaking 5-inch and 3-inch messes. I want them to admit they have crime. So there were 4,000 shootings in Chicago. Murders over a fairly short period of time, meaning like haven't been for me a year and a half. I think it be 4,000 murders. Many thousands of you are hit by a bullet but don't die. I want him to say we have a problem. We Trump bring in the troops and solve the problem like I did in DC, like I'm doing in Memphis. Have you seen the crimes way down in Memphis? So we've only been there 70 days. Way down.
The courts have been standing in their weight here. Held up. Are
The
you
lower courts
using the Insurrection Act?
I could use it. Don't want to. I could use it. Look, that's a very simple answer. I'm allowed to use the Insurrection Act. In fact, that was on my Stephanopoulos, it's the Slappadopoulos show. They asked Sloppy Chris Christie about the Insurrection Act. He's like, well, if you're talking about the Insurrection Act, he's got the absolute right to use that. And he said a couple of things. He said 50% of presidents that served in office have used the Insurrection Act. And the Insurrection Act, according to all of them, said it can't even be challenged. I don't have to go there yet because I'm winning on appeal. Even you're right. We're losing with radical left judges, general radical left judges, and we're winning on appeal. So we'll see what happens.
I'll be speaking to Governor J.D. Pritzker tomorrow. Do you have any messages or questions for him?
Well, I think he should beg for help because he's running a bad operation. He's letting people get killed in his city because he doesn't want, and Chicago. And I love Chicago. Chicago can be a great city again very quickly. I would have Chicago cleaned out, criminals removed, we would remove them. You know, in DC, we took out 1,700 careers, criminals, hard to buy numbers. That's why it's so big right now. DC setting records the other way. It's never been so safe. And the restaurants have never done better business. They're opening up new restaurants. They were closing restaurants, now they're opening. He says, I can do the same thing on a larger scale in Chicago. And Pritzker should ask me to do. But when you mentioned insurrection, I mean, you were the one that mentioned, what you mentioned? Insurrection, I could do that. 10 many presidents have.
Do you have an update on
50%, 50% of the presidents have used the insurrection because they don't want to go through this stuff where somebody said there's no crime and 4,000 people got shot. You know, right?
maybe you'll have to use
You and I have to get this because it tends to be other conservatives.
Do you have an update on the Schumer shutdown? The Democrats still continuing to
Well, it is
refuse
super
for the
shocking.
continued resolution?
Look, they want to have health care for illegals that have come in. Many of these people are criminals, and they want to have health care. And then what it also does is, you know, we have nobody coming in now. We haven't really locked down. If they start winning cases like this, we're going to have a rush on our border because they're going to come up for health care and the other things. I think, look at this, education, health care, he gives everything away. People come up for that. People come from other countries for that. So we can't have, we have people coming into our country, but they're coming in legal.
Do you have any more meetings?
We have
with
the
leadership?
strongest border we've ever had. But they are coming in, Katie. They're coming in legally through a process.
Do you have any planned meetings with House and Senate leadership on the Republican side to figure out this week?
With them. I talked to them all the time. John Dune's been great. And Mike has been great. The speaker, he's been great. The bus two guys have done a great job. But we're dealing with a bunch of radical left lunatics that have lost an election in a landslide. They don't even admit that. I mean, think of it. They lost the election 2,700 in terms of counties to 525. That's where the map is in front of you, right? They lost all 7 swing states. They lost the popular vote. And then they're saying, oh, the election was close. She says the election was a landslide. I mean, but then, they can take any subject like this, and as he says, oh, no, Los Angeles is doing great. If we didn't go into Los Angeles, they would have had to cancel the Olympics. And the head of law enforcement he said it very strongly, we could not have handled this if Trump didn't bring those people in. 2 weeks later, he said, oh, we could have, because he used to say that. But we did a great job in Los Angeles. It wouldn't have, but first of all, you lost half of it to the fires. And this went, I think this went maybe even worse. They had no control. When we went in, the police had totally lost control. And he admitted it. He had whoever he is, whatever his name is, he admitted it very strong.
what's your reaction to President Bill Clinton giving you credit for ending the war alongside others like America?
I've always got along with him. He used to be a friend of mine. Came to my wedding. You know, so did she. A lot of people don't know this, but now he's. I've always liked. I thought it was part of his sex. And what is he doing? He's telling the truth because nobody else has been able to be talking about the Middle East. Yes,
Mr. President, I wanted to ask you about your conversation to your world leaders today. You said that everybody is unified plan because President Sisi going for a two-state solution in independent Palestinians.
so you're talking about a different plan. I'm talking about something very much. Talking about rebuilding Gaza. I'm not talking about single state or double state, two state. We're talking about the rebuilding of Gaza.
And what's the point ahead? Governing
Why would it have to see? I mean, a lot of people like the one state solution. Some people like the two state solution. So I see. I haven't commented on.
How do you see bridging out Gaza? Because the Arab countries
At some point, I'll decide what I think is right, but I'd be in coordination with other states and other countries.
you satisfied? I mean, some people might say it feels premature declaring peace with the whole Middle East. Please help you.
Premature what? Like, you want more people to be killed? Or you want another 300,000 people to be killed? So we're dealing with
But in terms of the risks in Gaza, and I'm already saying,
risk. So let them fight on for another couple of years and let some more buildings fall down on top of the well, keeping on now we did it the right way. We did it. I think our timing was perfect.
in terms of,
You don't really mean that. You mean you want them to fight on, but
I'm just asking about the phase two of the negotiations and how confident you are that closing down.
gosh, we have a lot of power. That was a power role. Those people are one of the richest countries. I think now with tariffs, I think we're the richest country in the world. The United States will take it in hundreds of millions of dollars. But those are, really seriously rich countries, and they can handle it.
Some of those players, and particularly Erdogan, they also help in the war between Russia and Ukraine.
Yeah, Erdogan is respected by Russia. Ukraine, I can't tell you about, but he is respected by. And he's a friend of mine. You can see why I get along with the tough ones. I don't get along with the weak ones. I get along with the tough ones. I don't know what that is, but Erdogan's been great with me. When NATO has a problem with Erdogan, which they often do, they call me to talk to him. And I never fail to work it out by convenience. Is that right? How's Caroline doing? She doing good? Hey, should Caroline be replaced? No.
That's up to you, sir. Nobody wants to say
I think she does a great job.
thank you.
Do you want to elaborate on the weak countries?
And those lips, they move like a machine gun. Right?
Do you want to elaborate on the countries you consider weak?
They really are. Okay, but
Do you want to comment on the leaders you consider weak who are in that room?
I know I won't comment on that, but you probably really are.
Just an idea.
I don't know if they really, there were a couple on the wrong thing. But
Do you need their country?
overall, I thought that was an amazing compliment. I don't think they've ever seen us so much like that between power, money, such and such. There's never been anything. So, but you know what? I have to, because the plane is going to take off.
Are you hosting the White House link today?
So you think
Yes.
bye, everybody.
Thanks, President.
Have a good time. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.